Stone Road. For as long as I can remember, when I've left 28A to enter Stone Road, there's an official sign that says dead end. And only recently have I found out that actually the road is a through road. When I have driven there many times, I've always stopped at the end of the pavement where there's a very intimidating sign that says private road, no trespassing, and it's so scary that I feel as if I were to venture down it, I'd be shot or something. It's just like scary. But recently I found out that actually the status of this road is not clear. With one person, I don't know who it is, lives on the road and says private road, which I've always honored. Now I found out that maybe it's actually a public road. I can't find any information online. I've been looking at maps. Is it a discontinued road? Is it a class 6 subject to gates and bars? Why do I feel that we as a town need to know what the actual legal status is of the whole of Stone Road going to the border of Marbletown before, in order to protect the town, before there is any extension of the internet to those houses at the end. Because if it's a private road, as the person claims who has put up this scary sign, then a private road should not be paid for by, it should not be a gift of public funds to put up the internet access along the road. If it's a public road, we should know that, and I believe the town should have a resolution saying that that scary sign has to be taken down, and people can drive all the way through to Marbletown if they want. I happen to like exploring the roads of Hurley, and I've done so for over 40 years, but I always stop at that scary sign. So I just think that to protect the town before there is any extension of internet, we need to know as a town, what is this road? Is it private? Is it public? Is it discontinued? Is it abandoned? Is it minimal maintenance? What is the status of Stone Road? That's my comment.
Can I answer that? Or should I wait after the public now?
We can wait till the public comment. Yes.
I live on Walton Lane. I'm Ada Citron. And I want to talk about the sign that changed recently. It used to say Twin Lakes, and then an arrow, and how many miles or whatever until you get to Heritage Drive, where you make the left. So Hurley House is the name of the project that Jordan Bem has going at the end of Heritage and Walton. And the sign says Hurley House, and there's no arrow or indication that really you need to continue down Lucas Avenue and then take a left on Heritage to access the location. I have written more than one email about this topic. I have asked Glenn to write to me in writing. I'm still waiting. Point 2 about this is that it was my understanding that all the traffic related to Jordan Bem's project is supposed to go down Heritage Drive. I walk on Walton Lane almost every day for exercise. About a week ago, 6 cars fled past me, and by the time I got down there, the chain was down and I could see that they were all parked in there for a meeting that had something to do with that project. 5 cars that I have not seen before. One had an out-of-state license plate, and then one commercial van. And all of those vehicles should have gone down Lucas and up Heritage instead of down Walton Lane at much more than the 30 miles an hour that the speed limit is on Walton Lane. So maybe I'm not in the right place with my complaints, but I know that now there's an opportunity to speak here at the beginning of the meeting, so I came here to speak because I asked for a written request to these 2 items. Who enforces it? How does this happen? I mean, the Twin Lake sign always had the arrow. Can't we just add an arrow with a direction of how far you drive? So that's my piece. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yes, do.
Just briefly, I want to thank the board for considering the communications items that are on the agenda tonight. RFP for improved website. It's a very detailed RFP the way it stands, and I wanted to thank the committee for doing the hard work of putting it together, which was quite a detailed kind of exercise. And another item that's on the agenda is the focus groups that are coming up to find out exactly what we can about how to improve communications in the town. What we're starting with is a test or a trial run with 2 of the town employees. Judy has exercised her willingness, and Joanne Hoban also. So we'll start with that. David Bosch, who's a professional and this is a member of the committee, will lead the group. Will moderate, modify the focus group questions depending on how that goes. Then we'll roll it out to as many of the staff in the town as are willing to participate. And then we'd like to roll it out to the rest of the town also. So it's kind of a 3-step process. We're just beginning. We thank the town for your support.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you. Very nice.
Anybody else like to speak? Okay, that's pretty good. 16 minutes. Awesome, for the first time back. Okay, I'll make a motion to close public comment at 7:42. Second.
Second.
Mr. Bounds? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, moving forward, we do have quite the slate of resolutions.
Can I stop here for 1 minute?
Sure.
We got Mike who asked, I mean, if he's on there even,
He can't speak.
no, not for this,
Oh,
but if we get them and also the transfer guys, because these guys work at night and he gets up early, so if we could bump them.
Mike can't speak to us on Zoom. Opens meetings though. He has to be here.
Oh, well, his deputy's here.
Oh, hey, absolutely.
So I have a couple I can answer, some of these questions were kind of things that I've been dealing with Mike as liaison to these things. So
So you want to reference to that so we can potentially let these guys.
can I do that?
Absolutely.
All right, first Ada, I saw you running out here, which I don't blame. Just so you know, you've emailed me because I'm liaison and you're pleading for me for help, so I've been trying to help.
I appreciate it.
And you've got the emails from me about the responses I got from him. I gave you the advice of what to do, and apparently it's not really working good. What I do know is that Glenn states in legal jargon that I can't understand, which that's why I wanted him to talk to you, to explain why that sign, for some reason, is a legal sign that they can have. Now, that's as far as I know. That's why I want to talk to you, to get the more of the information. I just wanted you to know that I am working on that for you. And I will continue until this is worked out. The other thing is, since Deputy's here, about the question that she has about Stone Roads, it's a liaison, I'll try to address this. Can you answer a couple questions to me, since Mike can't talk at all? What do you know about Stone Road? Do you know about, by that point, what it is?
It's a right-of-way, as far as I know, because on the end of the road at the Marbletown border, somebody put a chain across the road many years ago, back in the 80s, I believe. And they tried to block it off because there was some kind of law that said they can close the road for one day out of the year and make it a private road by doing so. There was some kind of right-of-way law on that. Somebody contested it and they found out they could not put the chain across the road and they could not close the road. Whether it was for fire purposes or what, I do not know. Okay, I didn't get into specifics at that time because I wasn't in the capacity I'm in now with my job. So it always had been a right-of-way as far as I know. There used to be an organization, a group of people who had owned the properties on both sides of the road. I think it had all been absorbed by other people buying the properties since then. So it would have to be on their deeds. If there's an owner of the road itself, it would have to be on the county maps, and I'm sure anybody can look it up.
Okay, so my next, do we plow it?
No. No.
Okay, so we don't
stop
plow,
at
we
the
don't
paved-
maintain it.
Up to the paved end, which we just completed,
Okay.
the last section.
You guys have
was
done a great
gravel.
job, by the way.
We
Everything
paved
looks-
it just last year, and that's as far as we go. Where that sign is that she was saying,
Okay. But the other end's in Marbletown, am I correct? So somewhere in the middle?
No.
No.
Marbletown's past the quarry.
Quarry Road.
Okay, so all of Stone Road is in Hurley.
Yep.
It's right to the,
Yep.
okay,
Yes, as far as I know, it goes to the end of the pavement.
alrighty. Right, well, that's it for that. Now, I'd just like to address the transfer guys. Guys, do you have anything you'd like to say, anything about? Hi, Anna. No, you're okay? I could address the transfer station now, numbers and everything else that you asked some questions, I have the answers for you.
Okay.
And I'd like to do it while they're here,
Sure.
and then we could let them go out to their second job. All right, you wanted to know about the permit sales and how much of each. Through today, we have sold 1,180 resident permits. We have sold 721 non-residents. This comes to a total of $52,440.
444.
52440. Now, the only changes we made, we still have the lowest permit prices in the county, even for non-residents, but let's take that back. You don't need to do your computer because I'm going to give you the answer you're looking for. Take that off. Let's say we're still charging everybody $20. Now the total instead of 52 would be $37,020 if everybody paid 20. So those are the numbers. That's where we're at with that. I want to give them kudos. They're doing an amazing job. Numbers we've never seen, amount of permits we've never seen, and we're doing it because everybody has to follow the same rules, and it's doing great. So with that, as of the end of today, the total gross for everything, that as far as, now my numbers were pretty darn close to the permit price. I was actually $2,000 less than on my numbers than what they actually sold. So as you can see, I do this every day. I might make a mess. What I have for, as of today, we're not even done through the month, which would be 6 months in, half the year, we're at $178,613.54. Just so everybody knows in perspective, of where we are right now compared to where we've been in the past 10 years, the average for an entire year was less than 150 grand. We're only 6 months through and we're already above that. And I won't get into the other stuff quite yet because we're still doing more work on this. But believe it or not, those numbers are even less than what they seem. So basically, I'm glad you guys came today. You're amazing. You never complain. You worked through COVID. You're there rain, snow, sleet, hail, no complaint. You go up there and shovel snow, salt, ice, help the people. I was up there last Saturday, and all as I heard was great things about these guys. Amazing. Javier is the department head. A woman actually came up to me with 2 children who were under the age of 12. I mean, I don't know how old they were, but they were kids. And she was literally like, thank you guys so much for still worried about the masks and the people because these children still can't be vaccinated. But this woman, and I'm not going to release her name or anything, but she literally is a very low income woman. She doesn't have a lot of money. She can't afford babysitting. So to take the trash, she's got to take her children with her. We will still do everything we can, and these guys are working with that. When I was there, I was very impressed. Everybody loves these guys. And they were literally, elderly people. They're helping with just no stuff. I just got to say, I'm really, really proud. And so now you can go take an hour nap and get up and do your night job. Thank you very much, guys, for showing up.
Thank you.
Tell Swayze and the other guys what we talked about.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, I want to address the issue of Stone Road, I know of it. Speaking to Mike Schultes, speaking to Glenn, and also a resident on Stone Road. What it? Thanks. All right, what I understand of Stone Road, according to one of the residents who lives at the end of Stone Road, that it was a town road that was not that was given up, and it's now owned. It's a private road that's owned by. If you're looking at that sign that says "Do not enter," it's owned by the people on the left side of that road. They own the road. The person on the right side of the road put those signs up and the gate there, and we can't take it down, even though he doesn't have the right to do that because it's a private property. Central Hudson has the right of way inside there. The road itself has a right of way for fire department, for emergency vehicles to go through, and the road is kept open that way. But the interesting part about it, that going up to that do not enter, that's all public road, it's town road, and then about three quarters of a mile, the road is now a private road, and then on the other side of there, Stone Road becomes town road again. So you have town road, private road, town road, that goes up to Quarry Town. What's happening is that there is 2 residences, I don't want to mention the names of who they are there, that have requested to have internet, had to have Spectrum put a cable up there. We have a franchise fee that we get from Spectrum, 3% franchise fee, that we have allocated that money to be given to households that do not meet the criteria for free installation. That money then will go and pay for installation there. First thing that happened back in 2017 is that Dug Hill Road did not have cable. And John, in 2017, put aside $75,000 to put cable on Dug Hill Road, which was the price that, at that time, Time Warner said it cost to hook up the 54 residents there. 2019, we got the approval from Spectrum that it's going to be covered. We don't have to pay anything at all. And then we signed the franchise agreement, and we got something like about maybe $50,000.
Twice now.
Twice, yeah, about $50,000 we have total. And we figure that we will wind up something like $75,000 a year from.
Is it 50 or 100?
So we are
It's
roughly.
50,000.
It's right in your financials, but we received 48,000 and then another 48,000 roughly.
So we have, so it's not.
It comes in, if I'm not mistaken, quarterly.
Comes in quarterly, and I figure something around $75,000 to $100,000 a year is what we're gonna make. And we have designated a resolution, I think last month, that all that money goes into, basically, into a special budget line slowly for hooking up people who don't meet the criteria for free service going through. So what's happening is that we had Spectrum come and do a survey on to hook up, and the way they're gonna hook up, they're gonna follow the telephone poles, which contains electric wire and contains the Verizon wire, and they're gonna hook up on Stone Road, going right through the right-of-way and into the two residences on the other side. Now, the question arises that some people brought up, if that cable is going through a private property and we're paying $48,000, are the people whose property that's going through, are they gonna benefit from it? There is no cable going to the property that it goes through. All right, it's gonna go straight through that road. It's not gonna make any kind of connection to anybody. There's no houses there, all right, going through there. And it's gonna go right to the last two houses on Stone Road that are on public town road going through that way. The other alternative is to bring the cable from Quarry Road. And that's gonna be much more expensive than 2 counts because there are no poles. They go from the last house on Quarry Road in Marbletown to the first house on Stone Road this side. And that would cost a lot more because now they're bringing poles to do that kind of thing, and we will be charged with it.
Mike, the Lorenz Road off of Doug Hill comes almost to that same spot. Have we researched?
What road is that?
Lorenz, Lorenz. It's right off Doug Hill Road.
Where?
Jackamar's
Right off Doug Hill. And that comes out pretty close to where those houses are. I'm wondering if we shouldn't research whether or not
Well,
Spectrum could run, since that's a town road, they could just
It's the
run
road
right up
before
there.
Reichels as you're going towards
Right.
Hurley.
okay.
That might
It's
be,
actually a private road.
It's
It
a
says
private road also, so it's the same issue. But that road doesn't have any poles, does it?
There's power going to the houses. in there.
yeah, so if they have cable there already.
According
But
to,
then from there to Stone Road, you'd have to put the poles up.
right, okay, but according to what Spectrum said, they already have the poles there, and they just got to string the cable more or less. And the interesting aspect of it, because the 2 houses up there, besides the 2 houses that were requested, I asked how much it would cost to hook those 2 houses up, all 4 houses, and the price came back to like $75,000. We decided that we're not going to do that. We're going to have the cable run through into the 2 houses in the end, and once that's done, the 2 houses that are bypassed then fit under the franchise agreement because the cable goes right through, and therefore they have to get free installation. So we just told Spectrum, just go right to the last 2 houses there. The question arises, is there a benefit to the private property there? Well, there is no cable. Cable just going through their land. There's no hookup to a house, since there is no house there at all. And is there precedence for this? On Doug Hill Road, down on Doug Hill Road, there was a house that has about a 1/4 mile to a 1/2 mile driveway. And there are poles put up by Central Hudson there on private land. And cable was put on those poles going through there without charge.
Which property owner paid for.
That's the log home. We just, around 700. You know the log home, the big log house?
On the hill?
Oh, on the hill,
Yeah.
right. I mean, his property starts right at the Doug Hill Road and goes up this way. And there are 2 or 3 poles on his property, where the electric goes there and the Verizon goes there. That's on his property, and the cable runs that way. What happened, I believe that Central Hudson, which maintains the poles, charges Spectrum $10 a pole per month for utilization of it. And that's something that Spectrum pays within that aspect of it.
But the homeowner paid for the poles when they put that line in.
Maybe, I don't know.
Would have to describe the property.
Okay, they might have done that, so, but it might have been also like Central Hudson, came up there also, and they put it there. But we already have the poles on Stone Road. I mean, because the two residences that live at the very end there, their line comes through Stone Road all the way. And, and that's what we figure they will do. I prefer not to go through Quarry Road because I think the houses on Marbletown and Quarry Road don't have cable. So if they run the cable that way, we're actually paying to have Marbletown hooked up then. Because then those houses that don't have cable on Marbletown can then hook
There's
up
no
easily.
poles through the quarry, so they would have to pay that.
That's right, that's right. So Spectrum's gonna go through Stone Road.
The last house on the end on town of Hurley's side is the last pole.
Those there were two private houses on the
Well, it's
road?
owned by one person.
Okay,
Can I say the person's name?
We don't refrain from doing that.
Okay.
I don't really care, because I don't know, I only know certain people on Stone Road, and then my friends and they live at the beginning of Stone Road, because I don't know anything about, I only go to a certain spot on Stone Road. My question is that the two houses that we're going to be giving cable are part of the town of Hurley?
Yes,
Correct.
yes,
Okay, I'm just, and they pay taxes here and everything?
yes.
Now, the private house, or the other houses that are on that road who are not getting cable, we're gonna give them free access to cable if they want it?
No, what it is.
Okay, this is what I'm trying to, I got very confused.
No, what it is, accordingly, that if they are within like a quarter mile of the pole, they get free access to the cable. So
Okay,
we're not gonna pay to bring cable to those people's houses, but the cable's gonna run past their house.
So it gives them access.
So in
they
other
do
words,
benefit.
by us doing that, putting the cable there, these two houses automatically will get free without us being charged.
how do they get it if they don't have the lines going to their house?
They have, what they do is they send in what's called a splitter, a
Okay,
person who actually will go in there and split the line, and then they have an installer that come from
so
that
that
line.
means we're paying for them to get free access, free cable too? Well, in other words, that if these private homes, I'm just trying to understand this, okay? I'm a little dense sometimes. So if these two homes that do not get cable, who are private, private road, in other words, we're gonna give them access to cable on our dime,
Okay,
okay? We can't charge them then?
here's the thing, the money that we have, if they have not come to me yet, come to the town and request cable of these
Okay.
two homes. The other homes in the end has come to the town and requested the cable.
Okay, but they're part of the town of Hurley, and they are not a private home, they're actual resident. But I'm talking about the private people, private homes that are on that road. So if they want to do it, they get this splitter and they can get cable and internet through Spectrum, really on our dime then.
Well, we don't pay for that.
Oh, okay,
We don't pay for them getting it. It's automatic,
okay.
according to our franchise agreement,
Mood issue.
that they are within.
It's just a very strange, it's, okay, Jim's saying it's a mood issue, but it's just that, it bothers me that, I understand that we are giving the people at the end of the road who are town or who are not on a private road, but we're giving people on a private road access to cable, and they're getting it, because they never would have asked for it unless, they would never have asked for it after all these years, unless we're putting up the line for them.
Right.
So shouldn't we get something in return for that?
From
From the homeowners?
Why?
But, so.
We have the money, we have
Money was appropriate.
specifically put the money in.
Okay.
The franchise fee to cover the cost of putting cable to these people that don't have access to it.
Understand the point? Okay.
It was appropriated already.
Okay, I was just curious.
No, here's the thing, what it was, there was two options that we brought up to Spectrum. And the first option was bringing cable to the last two houses on there. And the proposed bill, and what it was, they're gonna go right down Stone Road, right on the right of way. They'd spoken to Central Hudson, who gave them permission to put the cable up there and going through there, and that was gonna cost $48,000. Now, I've spoken to one of the other families that lives up there. I haven't spoken to the other family that lives there. And when I asked him, would he like to have cable also? He says, if you can put it up there, I'll take it too, in that sense. When we contacted Spectrum for those other two houses, it's on the same thing. For some reason, they would say we cost $75,000, which I don't quite understand since the cable's gonna run past our house anyway. What's the additional $30,000 is gonna do with this, you know, in that kind of aspect? I know, for example, that when Spectrum subcontracts out installations, they charge the installer, subcontractor, $39 to hook up a house. So I don't see where 30,000 comes more into that. So what we have discussed in the town was we run the cable to the last two houses, don't hook up the other two houses.
Okay.
And once you have the cable running this way, according to the franchise agreement, as long as the house that the cable runs to, those two houses, are within 175 feet of the cable, they get free installation.
Okay,
So
but
we
they have to
bypass
pay
the
for their own
30,000.
cable and they have to pay the monthly fee
Yes,
and all that. Okay, so in other words, we're just giving them free installation.
we're giving them
Like
free
we all
access.
got,
Yeah,
like
we're
we
giving
all
free
got
access.
did we get it free when they came?
We were the first in town.
Okay, I don't know, we only use Spectrum for internet, we have Dish. So I don't, you know, yeah, it was way before my time living in, I grew up in the city, I plug that thing in and there I get cable. You know, it was not, I don't have wires over, you know, if they are, I never saw them.
So what we have right now is we have something like about maybe $50,000 in this budget 19H.
Yeah, so currently we did the last increase.
Oh, I think it's wonderful, everybody should have cable, everybody should have internet.
So it's 41,000, and as of right now, our total is 116,000.
116,000.
But you have to remember, we do have $330,000 roughly coming from our American COVID recovery, which one of the things can be used for is broadband as well.
Well, I think it's wonderful, everybody should have cable. I
So
think
here's-
everybody should have internet at least. You know, if they don't want cable, that's fine, there's other options out, like we have Dish.
Right.
But everyone should have internet.
But so
I
far,
really think internet is so important nowadays.
So far, like, to my best of my knowledge, everybody in Hurley has cable that want it.
Okay,
I mean,
and that's it, that includes internet too?
everything.
Okay.
What they want to do. So, and so, you know, we are still collecting that 3% fee, and it was decided that once we realize that the whole town is covered, we can then go back to Spectrum and tell them to knock off the 3% franchise fee, which they then charge subscribers.
I mean, that's why my bill went up $10.
It may not, $10 a month?
Yeah,
Actually,
That's no, it wouldn't be that much.
Only Cablevision, and you have.
yeah, Cablevision.
You don't have Cablevision. You
I
have-
no, internet went up
But
internet.
that was
the
included
franchise
us.
fees only on cable.
What's only in the cable portion?
Only
No.
on like channel 4, 5,
Well,
6.
they might raise it anyway.
No, I was paying 64 and then it went up to
Oh,
70.
it might have went up, but it wasn't because of the franchise.
No, I'm just saying, it went up from, I was paying 64, now I'm paying 75.
Right. Well,
So-
we figured out that each family that has a TV portion of it
Okay,
will pay about $75 a year more,
okay.
3%.
Maybe we
And
should
then-
do that. That's cheaper than cable, than Dish.
Right. Well, I for example, myself, I got cable, just part of the Dog Hill Road thing, and prior to that, I had DirecTV, and I
Okay,
had Usenet, and I was paying total of $300 for both of them, and now I'm paying $180 just
Okay.
for the same thing from Spectrum. So I'm happy in that respect.
maybe we should look into it.
You had a question?
I just have a quick question, and it's for the deputy.
Oh, leave him alone.
It's for the deputy. Stone Road itself, so we got this gap in it where it's private, where we're not allowed to use it from one side to the other. Supposedly, we don't really know yet, right? We're gonna have to run that stuff through there. Is there any way of basically, first of all, do you think it would be a wise thing for the town to talk to the people and try to get the, you did such a beautiful job paving that road, you'd think they'd want it if we took the rest of the way through. I'm looking more at a safety issue for the people on Stone Road getting in and out. For instance, if you have a fire or a tree falls on the road and whatever,
Put it this way, it's obvious by the signs they put up, they don't want anybody in there.
That's
You pave that road, you're gonna create a bigger problem.
but if we stop the cable, if we say we don't want to run any of more poles anywhere even down that road, that's gonna stop what she's saying from them to be able to look into it. If If we make a bargain with them, like, look, you let us pave the road, go down and use it, then we'll bring then we bring Verizon right by you. Otherwise, we're not gonna do it.
You know,
It's a bargain, it's a great bargain. They have lines, they have
Who's
everything
gonna pay for
else.
the paving?
What?
Who's paying for the paving?
Hello.
Oh,
It's
there's
a
more,
We're
private
still,
road.
we're still
more than just
talking.
paving, it's years of service and maintenance.
Plus, yeah,
Yeah,
If it saves
Yeah,
one
but
life
I-
because the road's broken and
Huh?
somebody can't get to
you
the,
have to widen it, it floods out, so you gotta raise up certain areas.
Right.
And
And
I
it's
can
not
tell
wide
you
enough
exactly
either.
where those areas are.
And it's
So-
private property, so.
No.
You're talking a year's project just to fix.
okay, I thought
to
at the
get-
beginning of this conversation, we didn't even really know if it was.
that part is private.
Okay.
And the thing is though, the person who put up all the signs and the gate there, he doesn't own that road. He does it just to scare people away. He doesn't own that road at all.
We've asked him to remove the chain and gate it. a couple
Can we put up another sign that says, with an arrow going, this sign is ridiculous and not legal? Can we put it on our property? That
Ask the
would point right
lawyer.
at it and go, don't listen to that sign.
ask the
We
lawyer.
own it. Why not?
Why would you want?
Ask our lawyer.
Why? Because somebody's,
Start
I
with
got
that.
on,
First of all, it's his.
I'll put one on
it's his
Tango,
property.
everybody has to give me a
Ask you.
quarter.
Yeah, but here's the thing.
Here's what you do, we
Their
can't
private property.
start with taking the dead
Yeah,
ends
we
off
can't,
there.
you know,
See where that goes.
we can't tell that person who put the signs up.
It would be funny though, it would be.
Linda has.
Linda has her hand.
I'd like to know how far from the road the people at the end of the road are.
That's a
Are we
good
running it right up to their home?
We're
Are we running it just
No.
up the road?
Most
Up
of
the
it
road,
is-
up the